Yolanda, the JSE up nicely again today, but I'm sure most investors are really waiting to see whether Arcelormittal comes up with a statement on its dispute with Kumba Iron Ore and whether that share resumes trade today. What's your thoughts on that?
Stephen, we had expected to perhaps see something before market open. We didn't. There is obviously a lot of speculation as to what level it's going to open up at. I think for investors, it is important that we do get some feedback from Arcelormittal in terms of the suspension, and also to comfort investors as to what the future is for the company, so that we can go back to business as normal.
So are we expecting a statement from the group before trade actually resumes? Because otherwise there could be some panic selling in that share, couldn't there?
Well, Stephen, in terms of the statement, it needs to be a very confident statement. They need to reflect that they have a plan. The lapsing of the mining rights obviously reflected badly on management. So they really need to come up with something positive and something comforting to investors, or else you're going to see a massive sell-off with investors looking at other stocks.
Of course, some brokers and traders saying that the share could fall as much as 50%. It appears the consensus is probably around the 25 to 30% level. Nedbank Capital, what are your thoughts? I mean, could we see such a sharp fall in that share price when trade resumes?
Well, Steve, I think we're going to have a bit of panic as soon as the share starts trading, obviously depending on what the statement is. We have a one-year target price of 95 Rand 84 cents on the stock. So anything below that would be a possible buy, would be a good buy for them. But obviously depending on what they're going to say, are they going to renegotiate their contract? What are the terms of the renegotiation, or are they going to completely walk away from the session mine? So all dependent on exactly what they're going to, ArcelorMittal is going to say. But we have a one-year target, and if they are able to still get the commodities at cost, we still see fair value or one-year target at 95.84 for them. So still, I think Stephen will have to wait for the statement and see how that pans out.
I mean, if you have a 95 Rand target on the share, if we see that share going below that 95 Rand level, it could obviously create a buying opportunity for some investors. We know that the biggest investor is Mittal Steel, owns 52%. Mittal in the past has been speculated to want to grow its share in the group. So a good opportunity perhaps for the parent company to get in there and grow its share in ArcelorMittal.
Stephen, one would agree. I think it would depend on how ArcelorMittal SA reacts and has really put forward. If they come out with a good plan for the future, they could possibly look at buying into that share. But if not, they could possibly look at something. But all speculation at this point.
Well, something that wasn't speculation, that was Steinhoff's results that came out yesterday afternoon. Revenue down marginally in the 6 months to December, although the group has managed to maintain market share. And of course, hit a bit by the stronger currency because it does have quite a big offshore operation, particularly in the UK and Europe.
Sorry, Stephen, could you repeat the question? We just lost connection there for a little bit.
Steinhoff results out yesterday, impacted slightly by the stronger rand on its offshore operations in Europe and the UK.
I think Steinhoff results very, very good, considering how the strong rand should have really hurt them a lot more than it has. They've done really well in terms of Europe, and they're looking to expand more into Europe, so very beneficial for them. Very good sets of results. We see the market really liking those results today. Steinhoff up on the day, and if we do get a lot of positive factors coming through from our domestic economy. We saw the manufacturing numbers coming out really strong. We could see Steinhoff really benefiting for that, and it could really feed through to their earnings. So very good set of results, and a lot of good possible upside for them.
Of course, you mentioned the manufacturing numbers coming out quite strongly. Of course, we had the PMI also out this week, above 60, so well above that 50 threshold. And of course, the business confidence index being released just a short while ago by the South African Chamber of Commerce and Industry, ticking up again in February from January, up 1.8 index points at 83. Still below February last year's levels, though, but some of that positive momentum feeding through to business confidence.
Yes, Steve, if you look at those numbers, they're being supported by the manufacturing and the higher vehicle sales. So very good numbers. It is a positive indicator. We look like we're leveling out, and we have come a far way. Our previous highs, our business indicator, SACI numbers at nearly as high as 105 at one point. So very positive for South Africa. And if we are to achieve our GDP of 2 to 3% for the year, we need to have good numbers coming out, good business confidence numbers. So hopefully a good start to the year.
Because as we said right at the beginning, the market's ticking up nicely again today, and it's not just here, it's globally. We had the S&P 500 breaking into positive territory again for 2010, and of course we are expecting non-farm payroll data out on Friday, and that's obviously going to be key for the markets at the US unemployment levels. Greece also coming up with more austerity measures for its economy, which hopefully should feed through to sentiment as well. What do you expect on the markets going from here?
I see that if one looks at the correlation between the S&P and the All Share, we see they're very highly correlated. They're, even though the All Share has really been outperforming the S&P, it's definitely moved. The S&P is moving into a bull trend at the moment. If we look at that, if we do get, and in terms of numbers, the jobs data, if we get unemployment coming out as expected, 9.8 on Friday, we could see the S&P run a little bit harder, possibly end the week off higher. In terms of the All Share, we're seeing a nice support level at 26,600. If it goes through there, we could see it move all the way up to the previous high. We could see it bounce off 1,000 points from where we currently are. So if we have Greece also coming out with those, if they're able to come out and say they're going to be able to cut their deficit by 4 billion, and we see the EU happy with that, and Germany coming through in terms of the possible bailout, we could be in for a nice bounce for the week. So good for investors.